What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a bit out of the ordinary. I've been seeing a lot of content going around in my feed. It's obviously been targeted at me about physical media and more specifically with movies and stuff, and I wanted to sort of give you my thoughts on it because I do collect a lot of physical media, whether it's video games, movies, books, those kind of things. So I thought I'd do it in like individual terms. So I'd do this one about my sort of journey with physical media collecting with movies and TV series, and then we'll move on to maybe games and books in a different video. But yeah, this is off the cuff completely, so a lot of people might have already planned what they're going to say. But yeah, I just wanted to give you firstly a little bit of a journey of where I started with it. I was born in the early 90s, so VHS was still a thing back then, but I was too young to be going out and purchasing VHSs. I do remember having quite a few in the house, not like a massive collection, but the one that stands out to me was having the Phantom, the Phantom Pain there. Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace. I always remember having that on VHS. I always remember having the original Jurassic Park with the big, sort of thick corners on the case around to really pull those boxes apart. And at the time, I mean, it was the only physical media I knew, so VHS was cool. It's a lot cooler now to a lot of people. It's like having a massive comeback, especially with horror VHS. And some of my earliest memories are going to like the shop at the top of my street, which had rentals for VHSs, and I'd always go in there. And when you were that age, you just had pure like imagination about looking at a front cover or a title and just sort of making up in your head what was going to be in that film. I always remember looking at it, and I always figured it was a slasher movie. It was like a horror, like Michael Myers, but it was a clown. And I had no idea about Stephen King at that point. I had no idea what that film was even about, but it just conjured up my imagination, and that's what it was like as a kid going into the video store and seeing these things. I always saw like the Friday the 13th VHS boxes, and a lot of the time when you did eventually get around to watching them, some of these covers had like nothing to do with the film, or did not portray the film as it was expected to be. But yeah, that's my sort of experience with the whole imagination thing, because obviously when you're younger, your first sight of seeing something is going to be like the one that really sticks with you. So I don't really have many VHSs in the house. I have this, which is a Bright Night VHS Blu Ray. There's actually a Blu Ray in there, but they did that. I think this was a HMV edition where they did like a cool VHS box. I do have one more VHS thing. I'll go and grab it now. Okay, I'm back and out of breath, but yeah, I actually got these sent over to me by Vice Press not too long ago actually, and these are actual VHSs. So we have the VHS editions of Suspiria by Dario Argento, and yeah, this is like the limited edition one with like all this cool artwork on it. I've not opened it, still sealed. And then we have the classic box. This is what I meant by the thick corners of, if you've never seen a VHS, you just have these really thick plastic covers, but these are actual VHSs that you can put into a VHS player and they will work. I'm not sure if it is like a Blu-ray that has been sort of downsampled back into VHS, or if it is the original sort of print, but yeah, they're pretty cool. This is from Vice Press, and they've actually just announced they're doing a John Carpenter's They Live one, so that looks really cool, and hopefully I get to check that one out too. I do actually have one little bit of history here, and I do remember this. So if you live in the UK, we have Asda. It's basically like Walmart, and back in the day I remember seeing this, and I'd only seen a few episodes I think at the time of the X-Files on TV, but I think it was BBC 2 at like 2 in the morning when I was clearly way too young to be staying up that late. But I have a vivid memory of seeing this in my local Asda, and it was Xbox X-Files Season 1 here, but it was also on a buy one get one free at the time. And I remember they only had, you can see how dusty it is, this is from my parents' house. I only recently brought this up after Christmas. I was trying to track down some of the physical media that I had there that I'd not had at my own house here. So yeah, I think they had like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and a few other things on this, but they did not have X-Files Season 2, but they had Season 7. So I remember as a child, I don't know how old I was, it obviously must have been when Season 7 of the X-Files was out, so like 99 or something. And I had Season 1 and Season 7 of X-Files in VHS. So extremely dusty, but it also has the old label there with £29.97, so you actually got Series 1 and 7 for £29, which I'm not sure if that's expensive inflation, but I remember at the time thinking like that's actually a good deal. So I'm just going to get one of these out, but these are seriously decrepit, like these have not been watched since 1999. Tombs, Born Again, so they have the episodes there on the front. Tombs, I remember that dude. That was one creepy guy. Seems like the sleeves come out a little bit on this one. It has all the episodes there in the back, so let's open it up and just have a little bit of nostalgia for the 90s. In fact, this one I never got around to because it is still sealed. I wonder what the value of these things are right now. So rolling 176 minutes, and obviously you can't just skip to the next episode in these, you have to fast forward, but super cool, and I'm actually surprised it's still sealed. I'm gonna check the first one because surely I've opened and played this one before. Yeah, so this one is open and it's in pretty perfect condition, honestly. So there's the winders there to fast forward and rewind, so that is in perfect nick, honestly. That's it for VHS. So that is my first form of physical media growing up. Then we moved on to DVD, and that's when I started to sort of buy DVD. I was still young at the time. I just remember like getting whatever films were coming out. My mum would buy me stuff, and I remember one of the first ones I got excited about was like the first Harry Potter film. I was really excited to buy the Philosopher's Stone and check out the bonus features and all those kind of things. I don't have that one here, but yeah, I've brought up a few of the DVD box sets and things from back in the day when I got them. So we're talking early 2000s or late 90s here. So we have the Halloween box set here. So is this an anniversary box set? I'm not sure, but we have Michael Myers there on the front and then Laurie Strode on the back. So this is clearly something for release with Halloween H2O at the time. But weirdly, I always remember it has Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, H2O. So it doesn't have 6. I always remembered thinking, why is 6 not in there? And 6 was always a mystery to me at the time because I had this box set and I could never watch it. So I had to kind of try and find out information about it online and find a way to get it, which I do have the single edition, which I obviously bought at some point to master the set. I'll have a quick look at this because this is a cool box set. I always remember this being a cool set and looking at it quite often. So we have the pumpkins from Halloween 2 on either side there. And then we have, excuse me, it's either from Halloween 3 or it's from the intro from Halloween 4, the Ultimate Collection, because it doesn't have Resurrection inside here. So we have the same sort of art in here, but we have the discs as well. I'm trying not to drop anything in here, but it's like a whole 6-piece here. I'm going to get the booklet out just so you guys can see it real quick. So Halloween collection, it's got a bit ripped off it, so I definitely need to watch this one a lot more than obviously the X-Files VHSs. But it just has a little breakdown of chapters. Oh, so it's actually the movies chapters, so the DVDs like chapters where you can skip to, and it gives you the title of it so you know kind of where you want to go if you've seen the movie. So now I won't go opening up all of these, but I will just show you some of the ones that I do have. The Alien quadrilogy there, Alien 1, 2, 3 and 4, I guess Aliens and Alien Resurrection. That was really cool inside with the green art. A lot of it seems to be focused, that's obviously from Alien, but it's Resurrection, so Resurrection art. So I'm guessing this was also released around the time that Resurrection came out, which I think was 97, something like that. I really love this as well, the embossed alien there from Alien 3. So, moving on from that one, DVD was the main thing that I was buying. Well, I wasn't buying for the most part, I was getting bought for me as a kid. And I always remember, like, I'm a huge fan of horror if you didn't guess already. And I had a recorded version of Friday the 13th on TV. And I'd always see, like I said earlier, the VHS box sets of the other ones. And I wanted to watch all the other ones because I heard about them. I wanted to know more about Jason. And I remember, like, every time I would sort of be able to have a bit of money or pocket money or something saved for anything really, I would like go on Amazon back in the day and I'd buy like the next Friday the 13th movie. So I have the whole set here. Well, I'm actually missing one. I think I'm missing 4, which is unfortunate because it's probably the best one, but I have all these DVDs of the Friday the 13th. No, we have 4, that's okay. I think it's 6. I'm pretty sure I borrowed 6 to someone and it is gone. So the thing with DVDs over VHS is we do get the bonus features, the making of and stuff like that, and that was like a whole new sort of thing. It was, you get to see behind the scenes and the whole imagination thing I was talking about. You get to see, I'm obviously a huge fan of movies and filmmaking and cinema, and that kind of inspired me by seeing some of these stuff. So I actually started watching a lot of these. I feel like I need to go back and start watching more behind the scenes as well. Halloween 6, bought by itself, probably quite expensive because it was hard to track down. You couldn't find this one in Asda, but I had to complete the set back in the day. I haven't got the whole trilogy on me right now. I do have it brought up, but obviously this was a key feature in the collection. This one was watched every Christmas, the whole trilogy extended for like 10 years plus before Blu-ray, or whenever I moved on to Blu-ray. But another thing, lots of special features and lots of extended things. You have the director's cuts and extended cuts, which you don't typically see on VHS. Now, one I do remember watching a lot of the special features for is for the Predator original movie. This is one of the ones I remember actually like sitting down and watching everything on the disc because I was just so intrigued about it. So that is everything I've got here for DVD. So I collected DVD for quite a while. There's not many I have here at this house. That's all at my parents' house still on a massive wall, and there's so many DVDs. Like, my mum's got so many DVDs, but they're all crap rom-coms that I'd never watched. But I still have all my old horror ones there, and I've always hated the idea of just getting rid of them and throwing them away, but I don't have storage for them here. So I've taken all of these ones I definitely wanted to keep, the cooler editions. I'm just missing my Evil Dead box set, but hopefully that does turn up. And apparently there is a chest somewhere in the house which has VHSs, so hopefully one day we'll look through that and find some of the other things. So moving on from DVD now, Blu-ray is the one where I came of the age where I could earn my own money and buy my own things. Basically, we had a little bit of HD DVD at the start which just died. I had Transformers on HD DVD and a couple of other things, but Blu-ray obviously took over when the PS3 came out, and as soon as I got one of those, that was it. Now I was all in on Blu-ray, and I had the chance and the opportunity to go out and earn money and buy things that I wanted to buy, like whenever I wanted. So I bought a lot of Blu-rays, and the majority of my collection is Blu-ray still. And I upgraded a lot of the movies that I had on DVD to Blu-ray, especially the horror stuff, whatever I could sort of get my hands on. And yeah, I spent a lot of money and time getting everything I want. I pretty much had a massive collection of things, of the huge majority of things that I actually wanted. So I don't have many normal DVDs to show here, but they're all kind of stored away in a cupboard right now. So whenever I do want to get one out to watch it, I'll go in there and I'll track it down. It can be quite tough because there's no organization anymore in that cupboard. But Blu-rays, like, I have a lot of Blu-rays, and I've just got a couple here to cover a couple of grounds as well. So I think this is one of the first, if not the first, Blu-ray I bought, because this is the age of high definition audio, and I love this movie. I need to watch it again. It's been years and years, but I just remember, like, I need to see this in Blu-ray on a 1080p screen with like surround sound. I want to hear the helicopters flying over, and I wasn't disappointed, and really do want to pick up the 4K of this one now and watch it again. Just because, I don't know, just something about this. It was also at the time like Call of Duty Modern Warfare was coming out when Blu-ray and stuff, so I was really sort of into this vibe. So just definitely one of the first Blu-rays I got. And yeah, the whole change from DVD to Blu-ray at the time, if you had a good TV, it was definitely noticeable, but a lot of people didn't seem to think at the time that it was worth the upgrade. I think Mission Impossible 3 was out at the time, and I was watching like comparisons of like the bricks on the walls from that release online, and seeing how like crazy this 4 times the resolution and stuff was. So I spent a lot of money on Blu-ray across movies and TV series, and I've got a lot of TV box sets, which one I'll get onto in a second. Obviously I got all of the TV box sets that were happening at the time that I just finished, like Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, which I've got a really cool edition of. It's on the channel somewhere. I've got a lot of unboxings of Blu-rays and TV boxes from years and years ago on the channel if you wanted to track them down. But I've got Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire, all those kinds of things, and unfortunately a lot of those are stuck on Blu-ray and you can't get them. I think one I actually still have on DVD, one that I've kept on DVD is The Shield. I don't think in the UK that ever actually came to Blu-ray, which is unfortunate because that was a great show, and maybe I'll have to track that down. I think I'm getting dust in my lungs from that X-Files box set. But this is one of the box sets of a TV series I do have. So this is one of my favourite shows of all time, Lost. Still love this, rewatching it right now actually. I'm currently getting up to season 4, which is, I hate it or love it. A lot of people say this is probably the worst season, but I'm there for it. I'm there for those sci-fi turns and twists. But having Blu-ray TV box sets was like the peak of having, like, watch the show, I'd love the show, Now I need to own it and be able to watch it at any time. And having that on a disc instead of a streaming platform where it can be just taken away is, I have this forever now. I can always plug this in, put this disc in, and just watch any episode I want to watch. And that's like some of the greatest things about physical media. I know this is more about what I've got on an unboxing, but we will get onto my thoughts on physical media as we get further into this video. But lots of cool packaging for some of these box sets. I didn't get the cool edition with like the whole pyramid thing and the UV light, but I don't think that was in my price budget at the time. So at the age of Blu-rays, we then started to move into Steelbooks, and wherever I could get a Steelbook version. Still at this point, when I was buying a lot of Blu-rays, I wasn't too fussed. I was just trying to play catch up on my collection of things I needed to upgrade from either VHS or Blu-ray. So I was buying everything, but it did get to a point where I was buying the Steelbook version of everything, and at the time it wasn't too much of a problem. I don't remember it being too expensive. So we have the Halloween 35th anniversary Steelbook there. Love the back of this one with Michael Myers. Shame it's got all that weird text on it, but yeah, these, I always think that the Steelbooks were coming out at quite a good speed, where you'd never had the FOMO that you'd missed out on a Steelbook. It was quite easy to get a Steelbook if you wanted to, and even tracking down them, they weren't that expensive. I imagine something like this is quite expensive to actually buy now, so I'll have to look at that after the video and maybe put the price down on the channel. But yeah, Steelbooks became my next thing after this, and while it was Blu-ray, I was still buying normal Blu-rays whenever I saw a cool edition or like an Arrow edition of like The Thing or something. I'd still buy the normal versions, but if a Steelbook version came out, it had to be like a really cool design for me to want to double dip. So Steelbooks became the new thing, and I have a ton of Steelbooks. But then we're moving on to the 4K now. So a lot of people still collect DVDs, a lot of people still collect Blu-rays. I kind of always want the best version, which is not necessarily always the best version if you get the 4K these days. The transfers are not always perfect. Think of the age of like the PS5 and even the Xbox Series S that had the 4K player in it. So as soon as I got one of those, I was like, well, I might as well start buying everything in 4K now. And then started buying just a few normal 4Ks. It was starting to get a bit pricey, £20, something like that. So I wasn't going out and buying a lot of them. I was upgrading the movies I wanted. I got like Prometheus, and I can't think off the top of my head, but I was double dipping again on some of my favourite films that come out in 4K that I really wanted to own the best version and test them out on the TV. And from that point on, I didn't actually buy that many 4Ks. I went on full on onto Steelbooks, and this is where sites like HMV and Zavvi especially will like enable you to pre-order things and not pay for them until they are dispatched. And I was pre-ordering Steelbooks, 4K Steelbooks, left, right, and center, and I've got a ton of them. And it literally came to the point where everything I was getting was a 4K Steelbook, and it's still, honestly, it is at this point now, because the price at the time wasn't too much more. It's like you'll pay a little bit extra, you'll get a nice version that you can display and keep forever, and it's not going to drop in value. But I'm not really too bothered about the value. Like, I don't see myself selling any of these Steelbooks at any point, but to have it as like a cool version, or like more like an art piece in your house, I always felt like that was worth the price upgrade. So yeah, from that point on, I was buying all 4K Steelbooks. And in fact, I think it was around Marvel Phase 3 with the whole Infinity War saga, I decided, well, there's 3D as well first. I was buying all 3D. Anytime there was a movie that was in 3D, I'd buy the 3D version. If there was a 3D version with the Steelbook, even better. But then there was a shift where we stopped doing the 3D movies, and I moved on to the 4K Blu-rays. And like I said, it was the Marvel Phase 3 where I was pre-ordering every Phase 3 Marvel movie because I wanted the whole of Phase 3 in Steelbooks. And for the most part, most of the movies I loved. But then you get into things like Captain Marvel and stuff, and I'm like, I'm just spending whatever amount of money to buy this just to complete the set. And that's one of the things that really starts to get to collectors when they're not that fond of a specific movie in a franchise, but they feel the FOMO to try and buy that to then have the full set. And I'm definitely guilty of doing that for certain things. If there's a movie that came out was absolutely terrible, like a complete destruction of a franchise, I definitely wouldn't pick that up unless it was like dirt cheap, and it would just satisfy me having it in the collection to have the full set. But it's been a while since I've done that. So I basically moved on to purely just buying 4K steelbooks. I bought a lot at the time. I was getting them all the time. My Zavvi pages. If you guys are collectors, steelbook collectors, you'll know that your Zavvi pre-order page is like 3 along, and you're always checking what's coming out soon. Have I got the funds in my account to pay for it? But at the time, I don't remember it being too expensive. And we're going to get onto sort of what it's like now, the current market in 2024-25, about where I'm at with it, where I'm at with physical media. But before we talk about that, there's also then the more boutique options of the collector's editions and special editions of things, and it's like a really tough balance to get. It's like, do you buy a 4K steelbook version to go with everything else because it looks really nice and it's going to look nice forever, or do you buy the Arrow collector's edition or Second Sight collector's edition in 4K, which has all these features, all these goodies, and a lot of the time they don't happen at the same time. You can't get both versions, or there's only the one version to get, so that kind of helps it in a way. But that's when I started moving on to buying certain things that I couldn't get on steelbook, but I would be happy to just have this collection. And these things can be quite pricey, but a lot of the time I feel like the price is semi-justified. So what I'm talking about is stuff like this, like the Second Sight Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4K remaster. So this has a bunch of stuff: art books, art cards, lots of special features, like the movie like on 4 different discs and different versions. When it's a movie that you love, like a classic movie like this or The Thing or something that's like just stands the test of time, like a film like this, I would buy a collector's edition for this. And honestly, a film like this I'd probably buy a 4K steelbook for as well. But fortunately I do have the normal steelbook for this already, so I'm set for that. But if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you'll have the FOMO for that specific movie that you want to get every version of, and you'll always cave and probably buy the next one as well, just to have it because it looks nice. So we have the Blair Witch one as well. This is the new one from Second Sight, and this is like an amazing set. The new different versions and the remasters of this in like its original way of being shot. Like I did do a video on this already, but stuff like this is an exceptional set that you have to have it, like for me, because the Blair Witch has always been something that, in fact, this is the first time I've owned the Blair Witch, because you would never under the assumption that the visuals are going to get any better because of it being filmed on like a handycam. And what they did is with this one is they sort of got the VHS print before it was compressed down to go to Cannes Festival. So it's like the original form. It's not exactly an amazing 4K grain-free like clean image, but it looks like it was shot on a VHS camera, and it looks like a VHS in that way. And that's something that like is unique. So this one had to be bought. This one I've not even opened yet. You get the box sets of things that, I mean, I don't think I'd ever go out and buy like Psycho 3, Psycho 4 4K steelbooks, but the fact that we have all of them, including the original, which obviously the original is like probably the best one, I would buy this box set purely to have them all and to have the first one and the second one. But it saves me having to individually buy and second guess on buying like a Psycho 2 steelbook 10 years down the line. But something like this, I would buy this box set. So it all comes down to the price as well. I don't think that was too bad. That was probably like £50 maybe. Well, I'm hoping it was at least that, like not much more than that. Hopefully it wasn't £100. I can't remember at the time what it was. DVD as well, one last one. This is one really cool DVD that I brought from to go with what we just talked about. This is like the original, one of the original DVD box sets. You see how dinted it is, but it's a really nice set with all like the gloss on the text. And I actually put this one in. I have like the OLED TV downstairs. I put this on my Panasonic 4K player just to see how much of a difference it is between Blu Ray, DVD and 4K. And let me tell you, this thing looked, it might just be the upscale on the TV, but it looked like atrocious compared to the Blu Ray and the 4K versions. Like, I'm sure it was 4.3, 4:3, and just there was no detail. It was completely lost. So I'm intrigued to see what the VHS would look like. One of the last things I've got to say now is where I'm at with collecting physical, because obviously we have streaming, and I'm not averse to streaming. I'll watch a lot of stuff on streaming, but some things you kind of want to own. And I don't necessarily have the FOMO of things disappearing forever, unless it's something I really care about. But I'm fine enough with streaming, but having a physical version with bonus features, the Dolby Atmos, the surround sound, like uncompressed, there's something about that. It's something about the experience of grabbing a disc. I know this isn't a 4K, but taking a disc out, putting it in, sitting down and just watching a movie or watching whatever you want. It's like you're having like a date night with your disc, rather than sitting on Netflix and scrolling all night. Because I can't tell you the amount of times that I've sat on like a weekend and we've just been scrolling through Netflix looking for a film, and then 20 minutes have gone by, we can't find anything, and we just stick on like something terrible, or we'll risk a movie which we know is probably not going to be great, and it's a waste of 90 minutes of your night, of your weekend, your valuable time. So at least when you have something like this, you're planning to put it in, you know what you're getting into. Or if it's a movie you've not seen, hopefully you've made a educational purchase. I slowed down quite a lot on buying physical media purely for the price, and I feel like we've hit the point now where, for me as a collector, where I only buy 4K Steelbooks. I can't afford to keep paying for them. Like this one, it's one of the recent ones now. This is the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K. It was part of the collector's box, and it was pretty expensive. But if you're looking at just like typical 4Ks now from Zavvi, 4K Steelbooks from Zavvi or HMV, it's like nearly £35-40 for some of these. And I don't know what it is in America. I'm sure I've seen videos where they've said it's like $30, which is like 20-25 pounds here. So we're getting rinsed on these, I think, and it's kind of pushed me out of the market of buying them. I still will buy something that's unique, or one of my favorite movies, if it comes out, I don't own it, I will pony up and pay for it. But a lot of the time when these new releases come out, I can't afford to just have blind buys or just buy things that I'm semi-interested in. And it's unfortunate that's the way it is, because there's such a boom now for physical media, and I've even got more into it again. Like since I bought the new 4K player and stuff, I've been really wanting to have more of these experiences where I sit down and put a disc in. But I can't just go out to HMV and see something and be like, oh, I want to check this one out, because the value price is too much, especially if you want a collector's edition or something. So streaming is streaming, but physical media is good, but it's starting to price people out, I think, now. And this is just me talking from trying to buy Steelbooks. You can still buy Blu-rays if you want, if you're still into that, if that doesn't bother you, 4K. And the same for just buying normal 4Ks. You can buy them a bit cheaper, but they're still quite expensive for what they are. Like the price difference between a Steelbook and a normal 4K is probably not that much in brand new ones, and I just feel like I can't keep up with it, and I haven't been. This is the last one I bought, and this is because I don't own a 4K of Nightmare on Elm Street, and sometimes you get the FOMO of like, well, I need to buy one of my favorite horror films in its best version. And then now they've just announced like there's the Nightmare on Elm Street Steelbook full collection coming out as well, so it's like, oh, what do I do now? Do I buy that to have the whole set in Steelbooks? Is the whole FOMO thing what? I don't know. I wish I could keep up with it. Maybe if cinema and films is your main hobby, your main thing, like I wish, like I have too many hobbies. Look behind me, I have all these things: gaming, YouTube, books, everything. I have so many hobbies that each of them is getting more and more expensive, and you cannot keep up with doing everything in every aspect of your hobbies. So if you're die hard into movies and you have expendable income to spend on movies that you want, that's totally fine. And yeah, I'm happy you can do that. But at the same time, it's like the prices are getting quite stupid on a lot of these. They don't seem to go on sale, and when it's a steelbook, you're pretty much guaranteed, if it's like for a really good movie or a really movie that's done really well, like something like Nosferatu or something, when that sells out, it's gone. And some of these sell out quite fast, so you're kind of guilt tripped into just spending the money or putting that pre-order in, even if you don't have the money, just so you can secure yourself one. And it's the same thing in every aspect, like limited editions of games, or as we see now with the new graphics cards. Like if you don't buy one of those on day one, good luck getting one for the next 3 months. So it's just the way we are with things at the minute. But I hope I've covered enough in this about sort of my background with collecting physical media and where I'm up to now. I'm trying to think what I've got my eyes on at the minute. I don't think there's anything that is making me want to buy a day one. I did pre-order the Nosferatu one because I saw it was going to have an extended cut, but then I realised it's only 3 minutes longer. But I mean, it is a very visual, stunning movie, so I would like to see that one at home on the OLED when I can sort of chill out a bit more. It's quite a slow movie, so it'd be nice to just watch that again at some point and not have the pressure of having to sit there for the whole time. But that's where I'm at. I'm still happy to have my collection. I'm still happy to pick up the odd one, which I think is worth it, but there's no way I'm going out there every week looking for new releases, seeing what's out and dropping 20 to 30 pounds on something that I'm not sure I'm going to like, or I'm not sure I'm going to be watching it anytime soon again. It's like I keep seeing Joker 2, Folio 2. I'm curious to watch that film. I know it's very mixed. Mostly people hate it. I want to watch it, but I kind of want to watch it in 4K. Do I buy the 4K Steelbook for £30 to realise I hate the movie? I guess I could sell it or take it back, but that risk is quite high. It's quite a high buy-in price. But then I feel like I'd be wasting money even more if I bought just the normal version, because then I just have the normal version, which I probably wouldn't like either. So hopefully you guys can understand where I'm coming from. Kind of want to know what you guys are thinking about physical media these days with the prices and the different versions and editions. And I don't have any criticisms against anyone who collects different media platforms, different versions, high end, low end. If you go to like bargain bins, if you go to charity shops and buy things, everyone is entitled to collect how they want. This is how I do it, because I'm more of a display person. I have shelves with the Blu-rays and the Steelbooks all downstairs in the living room, and that's the way I do it. But yeah, let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts on about physical media. Are you all in on streaming now? What platforms are you using? Do you only buy Steelbooks? Do you buy anything? Do you just search for bargains? Let me know. I want to know your thoughts on it down below in the comment section. And I think I will be moving on next time to talking about where I'm at with physical media in terms of video games, because that one is quite interesting, because it's a bit different than collecting movies, let me tell you that, especially if you are in the content creation space and on PC as well. So thanks guys for watching. If this is your first time checking out the channel, please do subscribe if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on things going forward and things going backwards. You can check out some of my unboxings from years and years ago. So thanks for watching guys, and I will see you in the next one.